went to the airport in Washington, D.C., and he called his mom and said, "Mom, I've left." He didn't want to have a scene where they're crying. He was living at home. "I'm going to Los Angeles because of a move where my chairman is." And Dan says that I should be near my chairman because that's where he learned a lot about the business. And he moved to Los Angeles, didn't have a job, taught himself how to program over the weekend, like I told you. Got a programming job. That's why I don't have very much respect for people that are in that end of the industry, because a chimpanzee can learn over the weekend. And he had one job interview, took the job. He worked 40, 45 hours a week at that job, and he worked 60 hours a week doing QLA. Then he wound up firing the chairman when he pivoted. And the first deal he closed is the one in Chicago, based in Chicago. And he's got, when he met with me 5 weeks ago in D.C., which he alluded to, I told him, "Okay, how many can you slam through the sales funnel?" He says, "Probably 20 to 50. I says, "Well, you can do them all at once now because you know how to do it." And so, like he said, he's got 14 on the boil, and he wants to do 20 before year-end close. 20, and we haven't got to this, but he mentioned it. A shortcut to see what their financials are is ask them for their tax returns. Yeah, and that's all he asked. Well, I don't know if that's all he asked for, but as he mentioned, I'm waiting for their tax returns, and because that eliminates the bullshit. And unlike Trump, who won't give them out, they will.
Clinics? Did he buy one?
Yeah. He's buying. Well, it's varying now, but they're bedpan jobs and clinics that work with the elderly. And as he said, and as I've said, except he just recently did it. He went to the August 2015 seminar, but he spent 10 months trying to do that big, he didn't mention the number, but that big $700 million deal. And he pivoted out of that and started doing this about 7-8 months ago.
Did he choose like a new industry?
No, it's still healthcare, but it's new. The other thing was he was trying to buy a big ongoing hospital, for $745 million. That and it was the bigger the asset, especially if the asset is involved in cross-border stuff. I mean, there's a lot of laws, both in the United States. There's a lot of laws if they're involved with the EU, and it just became too difficult. And so he pivoted out, and he completed this deal, this $3 million deal, just 6 weeks ago. So I went away the day I was in Washington, D.C., which would have been about 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks ago. But I mean, he talks very matter-of-factly because, as he said, everybody overcomplicates it. I mean, everybody, 100%, everybody overcomplicates it. Yeah.
With all the stuff that he's doing with the hard work, is he still going to improv and Toastmasters?
No, he's not doing that. He did in the beginning. He's not now. He's just, that's, I don't know if it's a typical day. But one of the things he did to make his mom happy, he graduated from high school online, and the high school that took him was in Hawaii. So he had to go to Hawaii maybe to go through a graduation ceremony, as I understand it, to make his mom happy. So now at least he's a high school graduate. But apparently you can get shit online now. Well, you can get college degrees online, I'm told. Yeah. And so, and his claim to fame is, prior to that, is he's an Eagle Scout with 3 clusters. That's it. That's his claim to fame. But I mean, he's just a kid, as witnessed by you just watching him. But he listened, and he followed the steps to a T. And I told him it's not hard. Just like Kelly Norwood said, Dan, you should sell 100% of everybody who walks through the door. And guess what? It wasn't hard. Now, me closing 94% when I was making people cry and beating them and fucking ripping their wallet out of their fucking pants and credit card and making them sign checks, that was hard. I didn't think it was hard because I was 24, 25 years old. Shit, it was fun, you know. Don't shake so much, old man. Sign that fucking contract. That's maybe a slight exaggeration, but not much of one. And he doesn't think it's hard. He doesn't sound. Does he sound like it's a hard process?
No, he's invigorated.
Yeah, he's jacked up. He is. And he didn't know the difference between an iBank, which is an investment bank, and a commercial bank. And he didn't know. 3 months after the seminar, he was embarrassed. I guess he was embarrassed to ask me in his weekly report. He didn't know the difference between debt and equity. And when I tell you, I didn't know enough to fill the top of a pencil lead about the industry that I became infamous in. And in many industries that I did deals subsequent to that, I don't know very much. What I do know is about the financing machine. That I know a lot about. But you don't have to make it harder than it is. Harder than it is. But the thing that the kid doesn't have is he didn't have emotional baggage. To speak of, he had zero. I mean, literally nothing. Not even a small backpack that all kids carry on their back. He's also had been successful at every single thing he'd ever done. Every single thing. His parents always said and showed him that he could do anything he wanted to. And he believes it. And he wants to, I think he once says, my first exit, I want at least $200 million for himself, I think he said. I hadn't heard that before. And I think one of the reasons he went to Hawaii to graduate from high school is that house in that lot that he wants in Hawaii. And it's just, and he's not the only one. He's the youngest current phenom. But we've had a lot of young phenoms, but now they're not young anymore. Now they're middle-aged or 30. I mean, they're past it. They're long in the tooth. They're ready for the cemetery now. When you get to be 50 and you think back upon that they should have put you down like a dog, a sick dog, when you were 30. Some of these kids think, And of course, those of us that are a lot older than that realize that's not true. And those of us that are right, no, not me, those of you that are right at 30 are thinking, fuck, And not right, Rossetti?
Right.
Yeah.
So that.
Wait.
So we don't have to know exactly by heart all the little details.
No. In fact, I'll go a step beyond that. He didn't say it this time. The more detail you know, the harder it'll be to close. The more detail you know, he didn't say it this one, but on a previous webinar, the more details you know, the harder it's going to be to close. Because the system, remember guys, the system is set up that, and like he said, the banks want to know, somebody's got to know how to run the fucking thing. And cash flow covers debt service. I don't even tell you about, somebody's got to know how to run it. I leave that alone, because that'll just confuse you all. So, but he said, he says that you only need two things. Cash flow has got to cover debt service, and the bank, the financial institutions have to know that somebody knows how to run the goddamn business. And like he said, there's some guys from his group that are still trying to get engagement letters, or he's a few months behind. I don't think any of them are still trying to get engagement letters. But they're arguing over the contracts. And I told you, no contracts. And I'm not sure if he has contracts with his directors. And I didn't ask him when he said they went out drinking from 7 to 10. He can't drink. He's not old enough to drink, even in Chicago. But I don't know. Just
I can caught him if he's out of the steakhouse, right?
Yeah.
Gonna bust his balls.
Yeah. But he now thinks it's funny that he tried to use his learner's permit because he didn't have a driver's license.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool story.
It is.
And it took him, and I get he pivoted, and I'm just thinking about persistence in the mindset. I want to close mine in 60 days, whatever. How long did it take? 18 months after pivoting?
September, October, November, December, January. It took him 17 months, but he spent 2/3 of that on the first deal that he didn't close. Then he pivoted into a new one, and which is the one he did close, and he's moved there. It sounds funny that my office went to my office, and most people when they're 19 aren't going to their office. And he's getting crazy now. He's wearing a lavender shirt, I notice. I'll email him about it. He's got a lavender and and kind of a maroon tie. He's getting crazy now. Before he used to dress like the Men in Black, but now he fucking, shows you what a little money will do for you. But, and he's on the balcony of his apartment. I don't know where that would be in Chicago. But, and like I said, these guys are from Chicago. Don't talk to him. He said, no, I won't. A lot of people try to link fuck him, and he doesn't respond. He's afraid I'm going to come out of one of his dreams and choke him. And any other takeaway about the young phenom?
What's his first deal that he was doing, and he pivoted from? What was that?
It was a special ambulatory hospitals, as I recall, specialized hospital setup that gets special dispensation from the government or something, and but high multiples. Like he said, he's buying businesses now 2-3 multiples, right? Okay, and when before he was finding it difficult to get them at 7, 8, 9 times EBITDA. And I would think that when he goes for a Starbucks to have a coffee with some of these sellers, it's disarming to be explaining this to a kid, that you probably have grandchildren as old. And so now he's turned that into an advantage for himself. And now he cuts to the chase. He really realizes, as I've told you all along, and I told him, and I've told everybody for 20 plus years, that you focus on all the wrong shit. You focus on all the wrong shit. Not dissimilar to what I tell the kids that want to get laid. You're focusing on all the wrong shit. That's why you're not getting laid. And so, and now he exudes confidence. But he was pretty confident in the beginning, even though he didn't know what debt or equity was. Yeah. And I'm glad that he made some time, and he really wasn't interested in doing this, but he did it, and so I'm thankful for that. And because I tell the successful guys don't have anything to do with you. If you see them on the street, and walk on the other side, because this is not a networking event. And I said, if their face is on fire, Josh, don't piss on them. Just walk by, just step over them. I mean it. Because you spend the time all on the wrong thing. Because at the end of the motherfucking day, you want these cocksuckers to like you. And what has that gotten to you today? Up till today? What is it, you fucking morons on YouTube? What has it gotten you, them liking you? Not a motherfucking thing. So almost 100% of all the training you had is not worth a shit. And depending on your ethnic background, some ethnic backgrounds are more fucked up than others. Any questions? Any other thing about Josh? I'll get an email from him. But he already emailed me. If they don't have it by the second day, you got to blow them out. A mercy killing. You know, when a horse is his leg's so broken, you know, just put it down. Give him a mercy killing, Mr. P. Unfortunately, most of the people on YouTube ought to be put down vis-a-vis, doing this. But for the very few that actually take the information and do something with it, ought to be with you. We'll talk to you later, YouTube. Thanks.